Welcome back, everybody. Today I'm going to tell you about what I was promising in a couple of my previous videos, where a woman I was set up with on a blind date by my aunt, my mother's sister. She's a fairly attractive woman. The only problem, this was about 16, 17 years ago. She's a very attractive woman. And she is attractive. However, she suffers with alopecia of the eyebrows, which means she has no eyebrows. And she had to regularly, whenever it was needed, go and get tattoos done for her eyebrows. So she didn't have real eyebrows. She had eyebrows, but they were tattoos. She still looked very attractive, very pretty. So I was set up on a blind date with her. Would have been around about, maybe even more, maybe about 18, 19 years ago. 16, 17, 18, 19, somewhere in that time frame. The date went well. I met up with her. We had coffee, I paid, we had a chat, we had a bit of a laugh, and spoke about life and where we're headed, what we were thinking of, what we wanted for the future. Not in terms of married couple, but just in terms of where our lives individually were heading. And we got on fairly well, and that was that. Then when I tried to follow up another date with her, she wasn't interested. Okay, so it went one date and it felt like a good date. Maybe she didn't like it, I don't know, but to me it felt good. As I said, she is an attractive girl. She tattooed her eyebrows, they weren't real. Okay, so I don't know what she didn't see in me. At the time, I was in a great job. I was a manager of a team in a big company in Australia. Well-known big company, probably the biggest in its field, in that particular field. So I was a manager of a team in there. I don't know, maybe she's thinking that, here's some bald guy and I haven't got eyebrows, and I have to tattoo them, so maybe he should look into tattooing his head or getting his hair back, because I need to do that for my eyebrows. Goodness knows what women think. Goodness knows what women red flag you on and disqualify you on beyond just your looks. But they do it on your looks. That'd be the first step. If you don't pass that step, you'd have to basically, step through more mines and hope they don't explode under your feet and you don't get blown off. Anyway, so there wasn't a follow-up. And I kind of forgot about her for years. Didn't think about her. And about 3 weeks ago, my father was sick. He wasn't well. And my mother doesn't drive anymore. And it was a Sunday afternoon, and my mother needed to get something from the shops up the road, which you can't walk to. So I told Mum, look, I'll come and take you. I'll pick you up and take you. I know Dad would normally take you, but he's not well. Don't want him going out in the cold weather. He's coughing and whatever. So I took Mum, and Mum knows the mother of this woman, of this lady I dated. And I was set up with my aunt, who also knows her mother. We were out at the shops, and as we were walking out, Mum was wheeling the trolley, I was with Mum. We bumped into the girl who was her daughter, the one that I was set up on a blind date with all those many years ago. Now this time, what I saw, is recording? Yeah. From this time, what I saw, she had a boy of about 5 or 6. Now I thought she'd got married, but she hadn't. So she had this boy as a single mum, as an IVF baby. Now, women in this world these days, if they can hold out for the best option that they want, and if they don't get it, and they still have the idea that they're getting old and they're getting on and they need kids, they have the freedom to go and do IVF, become a single mother, not get married, and basically overlook all the men they have dated in the past or might have dated, which it might not have only been me, it might have been other blokes. Probably she dated a whole lot of blokes and none of them were good enough for her, including myself. So women have this option now where they don't have to really get married anymore. There's no pressure on them. Thank goodness for IVF, hey? They can discard men that don't come up to their standards and just have kids on their own. Yeah, I guess that's the way the world is now. It never used to be back in the day, but since IVF and this has become more popular, and women's standards these days are going through the roof. So yeah, cut a long story short, my mum was talking to her and she felt very awkward. She didn't know where to hide when she saw me. She was like, not that she'd seen a ghost, she was just like very embarrassed to be seen out there as a single mum without a husband, basically overlooking all the guys she dated, including me. And there she was on that spot. She was looking very awkward, very cagey, and she didn't even look at me. She didn't even look at me. She wanted to ignore the fact that I was even there. She knew very well who I was, and she knew very well that I'd taken her out on that date. And my mother was friendly with her mother, so she was asking about her mother, and this girl was telling my mum about her mother and telling my mum about a bit about what she's doing. But she looked very awkward. I was just standing there and looking at her the whole time. She didn't make eye contact with me once. She was embarrassed. Yeah, that's the story. The moral of the story is this. As a man, if you don't meet up to a modern woman's standards in this world, you don't meet their looks criteria, you're not good looking enough. You don't meet their financial criteria. And just a reminder that back at that time, I was doing very well. I was in a big corporate company as a manager of a team, earning good pay, still not good enough. You've got to meet up to their financial standards, their community status standards. If you're someone big or well-known in the community, or are you not? And there's a whole lot of other variables that come into play with women choosing men these days. So looks is the barrier to entry, but once you get through that barrier, if you don't get through that barrier, it's lights out, game over, straight away. If you get through that barrier, there's a whole lot of other checklists that you're going to have to tick off and red flags that you're going to have to avoid. So yeah, very awkward situation for her, not so much for me. I was looking at her like I was very comfortable, I didn't care. She was very embarrassed to be there seeing me. And mum told me that, yeah, she's now a single mum. She had IVF. And I was like, right, so I wasn't good enough for her, was I? And, okay, if that's the case, and you're not good enough for one girl like that, many women in the world today have pretty much the same standards when it comes to men, what they need to be like, what they need to look like, how much they need to earn, and all the criteria that they basically want on a checklist. A lot of girls have similar, if not the same, checklists. And this is a problem because if you don't stack up for one girl and she chooses IVF over you for kids, for marriage, not for IVF for marriage, but for kids, which a woman would normally, before the days of IVF, they would normally have to marry they would have to marry to have kids. If they're choosing IVF, single motherhood over men that they have dated in the past and didn't want to see anymore, I'll basically say this: you're cooked as a man. You're basically cooked. You'll need to raise your SMV and your social value and your sexual market value and your social value to levels much higher that a woman would choose you over IVF. Yeah. That's the state of play in the world today, unfortunately, and I don't think it's going to get any much easier. To be honest, I really feel for young men who are not attractive or who don't stack up to women's standards. The older you get, let me tell you, it's not going to get any easier. Your looks are going to probably fade over time, and you might make more financially, but there'll always be that age gap, age barrier. They want a younger man nowadays, a younger, taller, better looking, wealthier version than what they can be presented with at their own age. Just another quick one before I end this video. Those of you who have been following the last few videos about my hair loss journey and coming to some kind of completion about it, I went in today to visit I visited the clinic that belongs to the doctor who did my original hair transplants. He's one of Sydney's top. He was also president of the Global Hair Restoration Institute, the global one, for I think it was 2 years. So he represented hair transplant surgeons on a global level as the president of that organisation. So he's a very experienced man. I actually came face to face with him today as I was arranging a consultation for him, which will go ahead on the 17th of June. It looked like he'd seen a ghost from the past, and I gave him a double look. Like, he's a lot older now, but when I saw him, he was a younger man with glasses, and he's a lot older now. But it looked like I didn't say anything. I was talking to the lady who was booking my consultation, the receptionist, and I was telling her I'd seen him when he was at this other place. I don't know if you were there at the time. She said, no, I don't remember that at all. That was long ago, 1993. I wasn't there. But when he came out, he was seeing some lady, and when he came out, I looked at him, he looked at me. He saw my bald head, my full bald head. He would have known that from looking at it, where I'd shaved it. He can probably tell from the front. I don't think he could see the back, but he could tell from the front that I'd had transplantation. And when he looked at me, it looked like we both looked at each other like we'd seen each other before. So this is going to be interesting when I go in for my consultation on the 17th. I think he's a really good man, and I trust him with whatever solutions he thinks would be best for me in terms of the FUT scar reduction or hiding or removal at the back of my head, as well as the removal of the grafts that he did at the front 32 years ago. Anyway, stay tuned. There will be more videos coming. I've got a new recording device. It's not going to be recording directly from my laptop, so the OBS won't work, but it is a tripod for my mobile phone where I'll be doing my videos, and I will sit in front of my laptop and play the laptop and record with my phone, and I will stop. If I want to review videos, I will stop it, pause it, and review it at that point. Or I will record from this tripod to my other mobile phone and pause it with my fingers. But it will be a steady camera from now on, that I guarantee you. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.